Hi, my name is Natalie, and this is my midterm individual presentation for the web application Trippy. So first, child user story. As an admin, I want to be able to display FAQ changes so that the user can see them. This is a pattern on how I did that with a view. It's called the model view model pattern. It connects the view and the model with two-way data bindings using document object model manipulations and output formatting, which are abstracted away into directives and filters. I was able to bind the data through this pattern for form input binding, and I could display that with the mustache syntax. So if I, in a form, use vModel and my variable message, and that input that's put in is then bound to that variable, and whenever I want to display that, I can use this type of syntax. As an admin, I want to be able to see the text field so that I can add new FAQ. So here I used vInput and vModel to create custom inputs for the user. I was able to create a text input field this way for the FAQ bar and bind that data to the variable indicated on the page using the same type of pattern, the MVVM pattern. As a user, I want to be able to navigate to the FAQ page so that I can see the information. It's kind of a little graph showing you how that works. And when using ViewRouter, all we need to do is map our components to the routes and let ViewRouter know where to render them. So in the navigation bar, I have a router link that directs to the designated page. And then in the router, that's where those designated routes are created for the page. In the router, it consists of nested routes and modular component router configuration. As a user, I want to be able to search the FAQs so that I'm able to find what I need. It's very similar to the input field for new FAQs. We use vModel and vInput and do two-way data binding with those variables using this pattern again here, so that you're able to have someone put plain text into the input field for the customized input field for search, bound that data to a variable indicated on that page. As a user, I want to be able to contact the administration so that I can get the information I need. It's very similar again, just a different form. Used the same pattern, had multiple variables indicated that had that data bound through those directives. As an admin, I want to be able to store new items in the database so that I can retrieve that information. So the admin inputs the data for the FAQ once the button is clicked. So we input data, on click, this function is called. Then JSON object is sent to the backend via a route that was created in the backend and is referenced in the front end. Then we hit the backend. The backend had already created a table for the FAQ items. The data is stored in the message field with a generated ID. There's a generated ID so that I'm able to retrieve that data as well. This is the same child user story, just a little bit more information about how it's set up. I use the model view controller architectural pattern, which separates my application or my work, specific work, into three logical components: the model, the view, and the controller. I also have a service here, and that is something that can be reused if necessary and handles where I'm saving the data whenever it directly comes from the front end. This is where I have an entity and it creates all the fields necessary. In my controller, this references my service, returns the response, creates the routes referenced in the front end. I also created a repository so that I'm able to save that information. And then on the front end, I have my model, which is an interface to all the class fields. And then I have my view, which has all the UI logic. And so that is a good summary and explanation of a lot of the work that I did over the first half of the semester. Thank you.